We are from IIT Mandi iHub and HCI Foundation. With me is our PD, Professor Venkat Krishnan, and I am Somjit Amrit, CEO of IIT Mandi iHub. Today we will be presenting about the activities that have happened over the last 6 months since we last met in TIPS 3. Next slide. So this is the first slide. In the technology development landscape, interestingly, we have covered in TRL 7:9, we have done 4 commercialized projects. That means they are paying customers. We are paying customers. Number 1 is we have done it for the digital LLM and the legal space for the Punjab and Haryana High Court. Number 2 is for the voter count improvement. We have done it for the district magistrate of Washim district of Maharashtra, and 2 other projects which make it 4. So we are proud about this TRL level, which are commercialized products with paying customers. Next slide. This is the technology which has been highlighted in the breakthrough technologies from IIT Mandi iHub. Why it is breakthrough is there are 2 things which make it breakthrough. For the first time in India, we have used Indian data sets for Indian drivers. Number 2, the entire algorithms which have been used is in the Indian context. So the algorithms which are used are 5 algorithms have been used to perfect the model. And that is how it has accepted by the Chandigarh Transport Undertaking, where we are implementing in 438 buses to start with. One data point which makes it again breakthrough is for India. When we have an accident and when casualties are there, 0.47 of India's GDP is impacted by that accident and the casualties. So this, if at all it is successfully implemented across the country, it has the potential to increase or save our GDP from getting eroded. We have spent around 30 lakhs of the grant which has been given to us for this project. The project is valued at 2 crores and it will be implemented after the elections are over. This is the acceptance from the CTU director listed here. The TRL level is 7.11. The second project is, next slide. Yeah, these are the projects where the startups which are listed here, we have invested in the startups. We have 92 startups. Out of the 19 startups are where we have invested in them, and we have spent around 20 lakhs per startup. The spending has been conservative for 2 reasons. One is with the startups they get in, we have a limitation of our stakes in the startup. That is one thing which has limited us in terms of spending. But many times the startups are also reluctant to expose themselves with a higher equity or higher funds. So therefore that means the value of the startup. So our startups, we have invested on 19, and out of the startups, TRL 9 or 7, that means they are already commercialized, already revenues have been generated. So our net worth or the market capitalization of startup is 490 crores. And these are some of the top startups. The one which we have brought here is a startup which has been commercialized. I would like, if anyone is interested, to try this yoga mat. I could open it, but time is not there. So this is the yoga mat which I brought, which is built by Wellnessys, which has applied for 9 patents. Out of the 4 patents are granted. They are US patents, and we'll talk about that in the later slide. Next slide. Yeah, this is the Wellnessys India. The reason why it is one of the best startups or the most eye-catching startup is this product has been sold in 18 countries. The revenue which has with this startup has generated is $750,000. It is sold both online as well as offline. In offline, if you go to Bombay, you go to the Apple store in Bombay, you go to the Samsung flagship premium store, it is all there. It is sold as a buy one, get a yoga mat from Samsung. That is how we have tied up with Samsung as a partner, industry partner with us. We have spent around 40 lakhs on this company, and it is showcased with various line ministry, whether it is Ministry of Commerce, whether it is Ministry of Ayush, and it is an export-led startup, and it is totally made in India. The entire product is made in India. The interesting thing is IIT Mandi helped in building the flexible substrate sensor model, which is for which there are 4 patents which have been granted. There are US patents. Next slide. This slide is, which we are proud of, is the human resources skill development, where we have trained around 1,665 students mostly for the marginalized part of the country. And given the success rate of that, we got the contract again to do for the scheduled caste population in the country. And that has been a very successful project where we have touched around 18 states in the country where scheduled caste population is high. So that was a grand success for us. In addition to that, we have been called by the President of India for our innovative drone DD program, which we launched it in Mandi, where we had a residential training for girl students. And this training got the attention of the President, and they invited us on 24th of January to present what made it a success. Interestingly, all our students pass out, and at least 40% of the students get jobs. And there are 5 companies, which are drone companies, which come to us for campus interviews for hiring these students which have the RPTO license. One thing which we are not doing well, which we know, is we do not have a chair professor, which we are telling this August crowd to help us in getting a chair professor for our Center for Human-Computer Interaction. If we can get talent, the chair professor will provide the technical leadership, which will help us grow this vertical. This is what I was talking about the drone DD program. Interesting thing is 100% passing rate, very high job potential. 5 companies which are listed with us, they come for campus interviews and hire these students from our iHub. And plus all these students have remote pilot certificates which make them employment worthy. Next slide. These are the sources of revenue. I think we had Dr. Ram Gopal Rao talk about those sources of revenue or streams of revenue. We are very consciously watching them, each of them. But interestingly, one thing which I want to see on the sources of revenue is there is a maturity which takes time. There is a gestation period of the activities, and there is a revenue potential which can be generated. So we have figured out that skill development has maturity which is the least, and the revenue potential is the highest. And translation research is the one where the revenue potential is high, but the maturity could be low. So therefore, we have figured out how to balance our portfolio across the 4 activities so that the revenue stream does not get impacted. And that has resulted in the first year of operations which we did. We have got a revenue of 3 crores. We have just touched 3 crores. But we have interestingly, we have an order booking of around 16 crores. So that shows that next year we'll have a galloping growth, given the order book is very high. We have planned expenditure of 33.61, and this is the way forward. This is a strategic direction which we are taking. Just to let you know, all of you know that we have on 8th of May, we established a Center for Human-Computer Interaction in the host institute, that is IIT Mandi. This is an inflection point of the hub, because it will get us the curriculum in place, it will get us the certification in place, it will give the view of HCI with a holistic view of HCI, which will cover assistive technology, device-led technology, experience technology, and generative design. Till now, we have not seen any institute talking about HCI in a holistic way, which we are trying to present. Number 2 is we'll be implementing a driver alert management system. After implementing in Chandigarh, which is a small unit, we'll be implementing in the 3 top states, tri-states of North, Haryana, Punjab, and Uttarakhand, which are again hill states. Then we'll get into the BCI competency development. See, HCI is one thing, and BCI is the thing which has to take us to the next level of differentiation. We have invested in 2 huge equipment. One is a 256 channel EEG, which is not available everywhere in the country other than the 4 locations in India. So that gives us the strength of doing the kind of translation research. The second one we have invested is in FNIRS, which will help us in spatial and both spatial and temporal are covered with these 2 equipment. So we are inviting researchers in the brain-computer interface to work with us so that we can work together and solve problems like Alzheimer's disease, Parkinson's disease, autism, and you name it, this can be solved through this initiative. The last one is the legal domain LLM, where we are trying to work with the judiciary of Punjab and Haryana, wherein we are implementing to reduce the pendency of court cases. Again, it has a potential to impact around 1.5% of India's GDP. So that will help us grow in this space of LLM in an enterprise LLM manner, so that legal domain can be covered, which is the easiest to do because LLMs are known for their paraphrasing and summarizing needs, which is the need of the hour in judiciary. So I think we are mostly done. So Krishnan is like to comment.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, just the time is up. We'll be happy to answer any questions if you have. Thank you.
Same thing in advance.
Yeah, we have created the Indian data source for Indian drivers. Indian drivers, because the buses of India are very different from the Western buses. We figured out that if we use Western data sets to solve driver alert management system, it doesn't get solved. We tried that for the first 6 months and our false positive was as high as 80%. So therefore we started taking the hard route of collecting Indian data sets. We have collected Indian data sets for 1600 Indian drivers.
I'm working for zero emission trucks corridor. Just want to check whether your data set for buses, if you can share.
Yes.
I would like to see, of course, the truck driving and this is very different.
Yeah.
But to design a pilot for the logistics, we would reach out.
Absolutely, ma'am. We'll be happy to help.
So yes, from the judiciary LLM point of view,
Yeah.
what is the experience so far? Who's using it? What kind of users?
Good question. So the government announced in the month of December that they are making the judgments of Indian judiciary open source. 30,000 documents were out open source. But when they told open source, we could not download the entire 30,000 data sets in one shot. They did a trick there. For every document, you have to download it physically and then store it in a folder or a file. So you will be surprised. We took 6 interns to work for 6 weeks to download those 30,000 data sets. So though people say it is open source, it was to be, they make a tough job of downloading. Okay, so that is the judgment part. So we have the entire data set open source for judgments. But we figured out when we go to the judges, they say that paper book is the work which I want to do, not a judgment. So the judgments everyone knows, summarizing the judgments are already completely available. But paper book is a concept in the legal world of India, where a person who lodges a complaint, he lodges through the paper book. And the paper book is the input and the judgment is the output. The judges, the lawyers, if they want to use our system, they want the paper book, not the judgment. So therefore, we are doing the hard work of collecting paper books from Punjab and Haryana. We have collected a sample data set of 100 paper books, and we are detuning our entire generative AI work to track that problem. Again, we are making mistakes. So we have a gold standard of what type of summarization should be done and what type of technological manner, and we are trying to create that with generative AI. There is a big mismatch. We are missing out FIRs. We are missing out so many things. So the accuracy rate is now 40%. The lawyers have told that can you bring it all the way to 95%. The big task is there. So people say generative AI can do many things. Context is missing. So we have to bring in context to make generative AI work for the Indian judiciary. But the interesting thing is they have already taken the leap of faith to work with us. So we have done the digital infrastructure, made it ready. We have tried to do things in a way so that the entire the judiciary will be ready, and they want to be the first. Chandigarh always wants to be first, whether it is driver alert management system, whether it is the Indian judiciary. So we are happy to be engaged with them. They are happy to give us a contract of 2.5 crores to do this. So that's the 3 crores you saw. 2.5 crores is to make them digitally ready. So therefore we are very proud that they have given confidence or provided that help and accepted the confidence in us.
So there is an NGO called Agami in Bangalore.
Agami.
Yeah, look it up.
Yeah.
You may want to connect with them. They are a group of young lawyers who are also using many AI techniques to work in the face of
Agami, AGA,
Look them up and find and share them.
Yeah. I got a card. I will reach out to you if there is. Yeah, definitely will work. We need help from you. Thank you.
With respect to the LLMs, there are a couple of more startups in AIML. I'm from DSP Hyderabad.
Oh,
So they also do the same, but you are going from the paperwork.
Paper book, yeah.
Paper book, but
Yeah.
they are going from after the paper book, from the
Oh.
lawyer's kind of even
Okay.
dictating and writing the things
Yeah.
and comparing and providing the judgment.
okay.
Okay, so after the paperwork, so I think
So who is doing the paper book work for this?
that no one has done.
Then we can get work with that.
You know, I have seen many of the firms which go after the paper book and the lawyer it starts from the lawyer and
Oh,
the
okay.
judgment. So I'll try how they can connect.
Yeah, I will exchange my card with you, so definitely we need help, like Madam said, Rohini Agami. So if at all we can create a consortium
Yeah,
of
so
thing
that
and
will be
plus.
faster, it will be
Yeah,
faster.
yeah, exactly. So and again, we are working with IIT Kharagpur, Professor Pawan Goel, who has created a matrix of how to decide what you are coming out with generative AI is good enough or not. Because I just say it is 80%, but what makes it 80%? Why not? Why can't I tell it 60%? So making it anything which you can measure can be managed. So we are again working with the academia because they have cracked the code of the comprehensive measuring system. So therefore these two are joining the dots. You made a very great point of going after paper book. So therefore we have not thought about it. Like I will talk to Agami ma'am.
Thank you.
Thank you.